The Identity Hijack, 4 psychological triggers that make you vulnerable to cults, and how to immunize your mind. 39 people lay in matching clothes and Nike decades in March 1997, certain they were leveling up. Years later, a leadership brand burned initials into women's skin while calling it empowerment. Different arenas, same engine. Your core needs get hijacked, and control feels like care. Here's the jolt most people miss. The tactics that hook cults also power your feed, your workplace dashboards, and your favorite, we're a family community. If you felt instant belonging, rushed certainty, a shiny title, or a mission that made you ignore costs, you've touched the playbook. In this video, I'll map that playbook in under a minute, then give you one mental vaccine per trigger, belonging, certainty, status, meaning, so you can spot the moves in 30 seconds and build immunity in minutes. When you know how the hijack works, you stop mistaking control for choice. The manipulation engine. Why smart people get hooked. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Control rarely shows up as chains. It shows up as relief. When something promises connection, simple answers, a shiny role, and a bigger purpose, your nervous system takes a breath, and your guard drops. That's why just be skeptical fails. Skepticism is a head tool. Manipulation is an identity play. The better model is BSSM, belonging, safety/certainty, status meaning. These aren't flaws, they're human. The problem is how tactics stack on them. The thing most people miss is the sequence. They lead with warmth, then add rules, then assign roles, then offer a worldview that justifies everything. Once that stack is built, the exit door gets very small. Let's translate the stack into influence mechanics. First, commitment and consistency. Tiny public commitments snowball. You accept a free workshop, post a quote, wear the badge. Now you feel pressure to be consistent with those choices. The reason this works is cognitive dissonance. It feels bad to act against your past self, so you rationalize forward. Second, scarcity and urgency. Limited seats. Inner circle closes tonight. This is your only chance. Scarcity narrows attention and pushes action before reflection. Third, authority. Titles, testimonials, lab coats, follow accounts. When authority signals align with your needs, you outsource judgment. Fourth, social proof. If people like you are in, it must be safe. Social proof quiets doubt by saying, we can't all be wrong. Now, why do smart people get hooked? Because the hook's attached to real pain. Loneliness lowers critical thinking. Ambiguity is stressful, so certainty feels like care. Status settles old shame. Meaning redeems suffering. If you've been hungry long enough, the first table that feeds you looks holy. This clicked for me when I realized my worst decisions happened right after my biggest anxieties eased. Relief is one of the most persuasive feelings on earth. Before we continue, we need to understand the pacing. Tactics don't arrive all at once, they layer. Love bombing opens you up with instant, you belong here, energy. Then come the simple binaries that end confusion. With the awakened, they're asleep. Once that's in place, you get a role, mentor, captain, moderator, that gives you status to protect. Finally, meaning reframes sacrifice as noble. Your struggle proves your devotion. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. The pace is the tell. Fast onboarding, slow exit permissions. If a group rushes intimacy, overschedules your time, loads you with jargon, and punishes hesitation, that's not culture, that's control. And here's where most people mess up. They look for obvious abuse, but the early stages feel great. By the time red flags appear, you've stacked commitments you don't want to contradict. So how do we make this practical? We'll run one diagnostic and one countermove per trigger. Belonging. Check the speed and intensity of intimacy versus earned trust. Then diversify your connection portfolio, so no single tribe owns your loneliness. Certainty. Notice absolute language. Always, never, one true way. Then switch to probability thinking so beliefs become odds, not identities. Status. Watch for praise/banishment cycles, and whether approval is conditional on compliance. Build self-status metrics you control. Inputs over applause, so your worth doesn't swing with the group. Meaning. Scan for cosmic stakes and enemy fixation. Then practice plural meaning, so no single story gets to define your life. A quick micro story. Last week, a client cut his all-in hours with an online community by 50% after he did a one-page role inventory. He saw that his moderator title was the only place he felt important. Once he set intrinsic scorecards, show up for family dinner, shipped 2 deep work blocks. His need for that badge collapsed. And boom, look at that result. Less anxiety, clearer thinking, no flame out. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Control scales when your needs collapse into one supplier. Spread the supply. One community for friendship, another for skills, another for service. One news source for depth, another for dissent. One identity-free space each week where you're not performing any role. Once you nail that, everything else clicks. We're going to dive into each trigger with a mental vaccine. First lever, belonging, because isolation is the on-ramp. Trigger 1, belonging, the fastest path to control. Belonging is the front door because loneliness taxes your brain. When you're starved for connection, relief feels like truth. The thing most people miss is that coordinated warmth doesn't just feel good, it lowers vigilance. Oxytocin rises, your guard drops, and you interpret cues in the rosiest way. That's why the first phase is hospitality at scale. Names remembered, instant, you're one of us, shared jokes, and ready-made rituals that make you feel plugged in before trust is earned. Now here's where most people mess up. They confuse fast intimacy with real trust. Love bombing isn't only romantic, groups orchestrate it. You'll get DMs, invites, voice notes, and inside language that manufactures closeness without shared history. Nexium did this with sisterhood circles that pushed rapid disclosure and vows within weeks. Heaven's Gate greeted recruits with instant belonging plus shared routines to collapse distance. Then come the labels: family, ambassador, insider. Labels pull behavior. If you're family, disagreement feels like betrayal. If you're awakened, critics get downgraded to asleep, and their feedback stops landing. Watch the boundary appear early. Lines like, "We don't vibe with negative people," "Normies won't get it," or "Outsiders are threatened by our growth," build a fence that keeps questions out and commitment in. The game changer nobody talks about is pace. Healthy communities earn closeness slowly and make space for your other ties. Unhealthy ones crowd your calendar, push rapid disclosures, and reframe hesitation as fear to conquer. So what's the practical tell? Speed and intensity of intimacy versus earned trust. Ask yourself, how quickly are they asking for personal stories? How fast do low-stakes invites escalate into high-stakes commitments? Time blocks, recurring payments, public pledges. Are you nudged to share trauma on day 7? Is doubt relabeled as negativity? DOS, the Nexium inner circle, moved from friendly mentorship to secret collateral and branded vows in shockingly short windows. That tempo is the tell. If intimacy ramps faster than history, that's not chemistry, that's choreography. The thing most people miss is how shared pain masquerades as shared values. Trauma bonding can feel like depth, but it's often synchronized vulnerability. Real values show up in choices over time. Telling the truth when it costs, honoring boundaries without making it moral, repairing after conflict without exile. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Pain can open a door, values decide who stays. Let me show you exactly how to run a belonging audit. 3 questions before you attach. 1. Pace. What's the interval between first contact and the first big ask? Anything under a week for money, public pledges, or heavy time commitments is a yellow flag. 2. Permeability. Can you bring friends who disagree, and are they treated respectfully? If the room turns cold, that's control. 3. Reciprocity. When you set a boundary, do they adjust, or do they pathologize your no as a growth failure? Here's a quick win you can try today. Map your connection portfolio. People, places, pursuits. People are trusted individuals. Places are settings that ground you. Pursuits are activities that produce calm or flow. Make sure each core need has at least 2 independent suppliers. 2 sources of friendship, 2 spaces for learning, 2 ways to serve. The reason this works is it breaks monopoly power. When no single tribe supplies all your belonging, you can disagree without fearing exile from your whole life. Now, the exit test, your guardrail. Can you disagree publicly and remain welcome? Not tolerated with gritted teeth. Welcome with respect. Start small. Ask a clarifying question that adds nuance. Skip one event without apology, or suggest an alternative plan. Watch the response. Guilt and shaming are red. The silent freeze is yellow. Genuine engagement is green. You can run this test in a week and save yourself months. A microstory to make it stick. A student moved cities and found a leadership collective that felt like home. Week 2, they were asked to share their most painful experience on stage. Applause felt healing. Week 3, service hours ramped to nightly events. Their outside friends faded. We ran the belonging audit. Pace went red. Permeability went red. Reciprocity went red. They set one rule: no major commitments for 30 days. Two things happened. The group cooled when boundaries appeared, and they discovered a low-key dance class where nobody cared about performance. Relief redistributed. Thinking returned. Guardrail most people ignore. Calendar control. High control spaces saturate your schedule because empty time restores autonomy. Set caps. No more than 2 group nights weekly, message windows you don't break, and 1 identity-free block where you're not anyone's anything. No titles, no badges, no content. That unperformed hour resets your baseline. Now you try. Choose 2 non-overlapping communities this month. Different values, different social graphs. Join a volunteer shift where nobody knows your resume. Take a beginner class where effort, not clout, is the currency. Put both on your calendar first. Sequencing matters. It inoculates you before love bombing sets your norm for you. Finally, write one rule on paper: slow the bind. No irreversible steps in the first 30 days with any group that feels euphoric. No auto-renew payments, no public vows, no cutting off outside people. If it's healthy, it'll still be there in a month. If it's not, you just saved an exit wound. Belonging should make you more you, not less you. When that stays true, the next levers, certainty, status, meaning, lose their grip. Immunity protocol, belonging. Belonging is powerful, so you need structure, not swagger. Emotional hunger predicts narrative capture. When you're lonely, the first soothing story feels true and trains you to ignore disconfirming signals. Adopt the slow the bind rule. No major commitments for 30 days with any new group that feels euphoric. No public pledges, no auto-renew payments, no titles that pull you into obligation. If it's healthy, it will accept your pace. If it resents your pace, that's data. Map your connection portfolio. People, places, pursuits. Aim for redundancy, at least 2 independent suppliers per need. This breaks monopoly power, so disagreement doesn't threaten your whole life. Run the exit test early. Offer a respectful counterpoint. Skip one meeting without apology, or bring a curious friend who doesn't share assumptions. Guilt and pathologizing are red. Ignoring is yellow. Genuine engagement is green. Add calendar control. 2 group nights max per week, message windows you don't break, and 1 identity-free block where you're not anyone's anything. Read paper pages. Walk without posting. Cook badly. If you feel the urge to document, stay 10 more minutes. Role rotation helps. Twice a month, be a novice somewhere and a mentor somewhere else. The swing builds portability, so a title can't own you. Pick 2 non-overlapping communities this month and put them on the calendar first. Sequencing sets your baseline before love bombing tries to set it for you. Track 1 signal, energy after. Write a 1-line check-in, more me or less me. If the pattern trends, less me, slow the bind. Belonging opens the door. Now certainty tries to bolt it from the inside. Trigger 2, certainty, the comfort that costs you freedom. Ambiguity is a stressor. Your brain burns fuel resolving uncertainty, so simple answers feel like a rescue. That relief is why certainty can cost you freedom. When someone hands you clean binaries, your nervous system calms down, but your thinking narrows. The thing most people miss is that certainty isn't just a belief, it's a social contract. Once you accept one true way, you inherit the rules, enemies, and scripts that defend it. Heaven's Gate had airtight binaries. Await the craft or be trapped, and preloaded replies for doubt. High control online communities do a similar thing with, if you question this, you're part of the problem. What does certainty look like in the wild? Simple answers to complex questions. Binaries that erase nuance. Always/never, good/evil, awakened/asleep. Airtight Q&A where every doubt has a preloaded reply. If you're confused, you're not ready. If you disagree, it's ego. If you leave, you fear truth. These are thought-terminating clichés, a term scholars and clinicians use for phrases that end inquiry by pathologizing it. In Nexium trainings, questions were reframed as limiting beliefs to be purged. In some political tribes, slogans replace argument. On platforms, you'll see algorithmic versions. Feeds overfit to one narrative until repetition feels like reality. Now here's where most people mess up. They outsource doubt. To a guru, a brand, a party, an algorithm. Outsourcing doubt feels efficient, but it atrophies the very muscles that keep you free. If you remember nothing else here, remember this. Doubt isn't disloyalty, it's maintenance. Without doubt, beliefs calcify into identity, and identity defends itself at any cost. Let me show you how to spot certainty linguistically. Listen for absolutes, always, never, everything, nothing. Watch for one true way framing and secret knowledge promises. Only insiders know. This is the blueprint. I'll reveal what they won't. Notice if questions get relabeled as negativity. When language shifts from describing reality to policing reality, you've moved from learning to loyalty. Here's a quick win. Build a maybe map. 3 columns: statement, evidence for, evidence against. Start with a belief you care about. For example, this method is the best path to growth. List 3 supporting points in 4, then force yourself to list 3 in against. If you can't fill against, your inputs are lopsided. The goal isn't paralysis, it's competence at holding competing truths without panic. Your immunity tool is probability thinking. Phrase beliefs as odds, not absolutes. Given what I know, I'm 70% confident this approach works for me right now. The reason this works is it builds updatability. Odds imply the door can move. Absolutes make the door sacred. Once you use odds, you can change your mind without changing your identity. That's freedom. To make this stick, microdose uncertainty. Weekly experiments with safe risk. Try a different credible news source for a single topic. Pilot an alternate approach on a small project. Ask someone you respect to steelman the position you oppose. The best version, not a caricature. Then journal what shifted. Add a language tweak. Replace is with seems for 7 days. This policy seems unfair. This leader seems credible. That swap keeps evidence channels open. People report fewer fights and faster error correction with this one habit. Before we continue, you need to understand falsifiability. Any robust claim should have a potential disconfirming data point. Ask, what would change my mind? Define it in advance. If your answer is nothing, you're not in knowledge, you're in identity protection. That's fine for preferences. It's dangerous for worldviews. Write one falsifier for a belief this week and share it with a friend who'll hold you to it. A microstory. A product lead swore their roadmap was the only rational plan. Team feedback bounced off because disagreement equaled disloyalty. We ran a maybe map in a live meeting and shifted to odds. We're 65% on plan A, 25% on plan B, 10% on plan C. 2 things happened. Dissent turned into data, and velocity increased because the team stopped wasting energy defending certainty. 3 weeks later, new inputs landed, and switching plans felt like judgment, not betrayal. Common mistakes to avoid. Don't perform faux uncertainty, saying, maybe, while rolling your eyes at alternatives. Don't confuse data volume with viewpoint diversity. 10 sources that cite each other is one view. And don't make uncertainty your identity. Some claims are testably false or harmful. Uncertainty is a tool, not a virtue badge. Guardrail time. Set a 10% doubt budget on your strongest belief. Spend it monthly by seeking disconfirming evidence or running a small contrary test. If you can't find contrary evidence, that's evidence about your environment, not your correctness. Adjust your inputs until you can run the test. Track the bodily tell of certainty addiction, the relief spike. When a take makes your anxiety drop in a rush, pause. It might be clarity. It might be overfitting. 3 breaths, then ask, what else could be true? 1 minute of deliberate ambiguity now can save months of devotion to a brittle idea. Certainty feels like care, but care without questions is custody. Once you can hold uncertainty without panicking, status has less to weaponize, because hierarchies need fixed truths to justify who's up and who's down. Immunity protocol, certainty. Certainty sticks because relief becomes addictive. Once black and white answers drop your stress, anything that threatens that calm feels like chaos. We'll build tolerance without drowning in doubt. Microdose uncertainty weekly. 1 safe experiment. Order at random. Swap your go-to podcast for a credible counterpoint on one topic, or run a tiny egg bee at work that challenges your favorite assumption. Small stakes retrain your body to feel okay when outcomes aren't settled. Language tweak. For 7 days, replace is with seems. This plan seems efficient. This study seems strong. You're keeping the channel open for updates. Build the maybe muscle with a simple daily rep. Morning. Rate one belief as a percentage. Noon. Find one credible opposite source. Night. Adjust by up to 5 points and write why. Guardrail. Require falsifiability. Write one clear disconfirming signal for a belief you care about and share it with a friend who will check in next month. Set a 10% doubt budget monthly on your strongest belief. Seek disconfirming evidence or run a small contrary test. If you can't, you're in a bubble. Adjust inputs until a test is possible. Add a weekly ambiguity rep. 15 minutes to write 2 plausible explanations for one event and the evidence that would separate them. Common pitfalls. Volume isn't diversity. Faux maybe hardens bias. Uncertainty isn't an identity. Finally, track the relief spike when something confirms you. Pause, breathe, ask, what else could be true? Certainty is useful. Without an off switch, it becomes custody. Once you can hold uncertainty without panic, status has less leverage. Next up, status, where approval and titles enforce the script. Trigger 3, status, the role that starts to wear you. Status is attention and access. It decides who gets heard, who gets resources, and who gets forgiven. Manipulators know this, so they hand out roles like candy, captain, moderator, ambassador, inner circle, then use shame and praise to steer you. The thing most people miss is that status hits 2 systems at once. Dopamine for the win and cortisol for the threat of losing it. That swing makes you easy to control. What does status control look like in the wild? Special badges and titles. Private rooms, secret chats, VIP dinners. Public rankings that reset every week, so you're never safe. Humiliation rituals dressed up as feedback circles. Praise/banish cycles, where you're spotlighted on Monday and iced out on Friday for asking the wrong question. Nexium minted inner rings, proctors, coaches, and an inner circle. That conferred clout and then weaponized it to police dissent. Online, mod badges can play the same role. At work, you'll see leaderboard dashboards, culture hero awards, and founders treated like gurus. The levers are the same, just with HR slides. Now here's where most people mess up, mistaking conditional approval for belonging. When applause equals acceptance, you'll trade integrity for claps. If you remember nothing else here, remember this. Belonging is who you are to people when you have nothing to offer. Status is what you're worth when you do. Don't swap the former for the latter. Let me show you how to measure status volatility. Track the amplitude and frequency of feedback. Amplitude. How big are the swings between praise and punishment? Frequency. How often do they happen? High amplitude, high frequency is a control pattern. It keeps your attention glued to the meter. If a single misstep drops you from saint to suspect, you're not in a community. You're in a casino. Listen for role fusion language. As a leader here, you should know better. Our ambassadors never. You're one of the chosen. The label becomes a leash. In DOS, the master/slave labels fused identity to obedience. In corporate cultures, owner mindset can be used the same way to blur boundaries. You'll also hear moralized metrics. Your numbers show your devotion. Numbers are fine. Moralizing them makes you worship the scoreboard. Here's a quick win you can try this week: role rotation. Twice a month, enter a context where you're a novice and another where you're a mentor. Learn guitar badly on Tuesdays, tutor a neighbor on Thursdays. The reason this works is it decouples worth from any single role. You'll feel the difference fast. Less panic when a title is threatened, more curiosity when you're new. Your immunity tool is self-status metrics you control. Inputs over applause. Define 3 daily or weekly inputs that matter regardless of the crowd. 90 minutes of deep work. 1 generous act that earns 0 points. 8 hours of sleep. Put them on a private scoreboard shared only with one accountability buddy. If you're in a public hierarchy, add applause lag tracking. If a 3-day dip in likes makes you jittery, counter by doubling inputs and cutting 1 performative output. You're rewiring value from spikes to steadiness. Common mistakes to avoid. Don't try to beat a rigged hierarchy at its own game. Winning just makes you the next enforcer. Don't announce your no-perform boundary like a grand gesture. Just live it. And don't confuse humility with invisibility. Healthy status is earned by contribution, not by self-erasure. Watch for humiliation rituals disguised as growth. Hot seat, radical candor, circle of mirrors. If feedback is public, non-consensual, and targets identity over behavior, that's not coaching, that's control. Use the exit test here too. Push back once in public respectfully. Do they double down or switch to private, specific, actionable feedback? A micro-story. A rising product manager got tapped as culture champion. Emoji storms on Slack every time she posted. Private dinners with the founder. A special channel for captains. Her weekends vanished into voluntary events. The praise was intoxicating. Then came the whiplash. She questioned a deadline that risked burnout. Overnight, the emoji stopped. She was told she'd lost the room. We measured status volatility, off the charts. She built self-status metrics, sleep, deep work, family dinners, and set a no-perform zone after 7 p.m. 2 weeks later, the anxiety crashed. A month later, she stepped down from the title and kept the job. Her influence went up because people started trusting that her yes meant yes, not please clap. Before we continue, you need to understand identity fusion. When role equals self, criticism of the role feels like annihilation. That's why people defend badges to the death. The antidote is plural roles and a portable identity. Write a 2-line bio that doesn't mention any title. I learn fast. I build helpful things. I keep promises. That travels. Titles can be stripped. Capacities go with you. Finally, guardrails. Create a no-perform zone. 1 space each week where there's 0 metric, 0 audience, 0 optimization. Garden badly. Cook without posting it. Sit on the floor with your kid and let the blocks fall. If you feel the itch to document, stay 10 more minutes. You're rewiring the loop that says worth equals witness. Add a boundary script for status squeezes. When someone leverages your role to force compliance, as a leader, you should respond with values, not titles. My standard is honest timelines and humane workloads. If they escalate, you've found the leash. Hold the boundary anyway. Track your volatility score weekly. 2 questions. Did praise or criticism change your core behavior? And did you break a value to keep a title? A yes is your cue to rebalance. More inputs, more role rotation, more no perform. Status feels good, of course it does. But when the costume won't come off, it starts to wear you. With uncertainty handled and status decoupled from worth, the last lever, meaning, has less room to hijack your story. Immunity protocol, status. Status bites hardest when your role fuses to your worth. We'll build slack into identity and take the scoreboard off the altar, so praise can't steer you. Start with a no-perform zone. Once a week, 90 minutes where nothing is tracked, posted, or optimized. Read paper pages. Walk on airplane mode, cook badly. If you feel the itch to document, stay 10 more minutes. You're breaking the pairing between witness and worth. Define intrinsic scorecards, inputs you control. Pick 3 that make you proud even if nobody claps. 90 minutes of deep work, 1 generous act with 0 points, 8 hours of sleep. Track privately with 1 accountability buddy. Build role rotation into your month. Twice be a novice, twice be a mentor. Teach a kid to code, learn pottery badly. Balance keeps titles from owning you. Monitor applause lag. When praise dips for 3 days, don't sprint back to the feed. Double down on inputs and add 1 offline connection. A call with a friend, a walk with family. Pre-write a boundary script for status squeezes. When someone says, as a leader, you should, reply with values. My standard is honest timelines and humane workloads. If they escalate to shame, you've found the leash. Put humiliation rituals on a hard no list, public, hot seats. Punch down radical candor, shaming circles. Request private, specific, actionable feedback. If they refuse, step back. Write a portable identity line without rank. I keep promises. I learn fast. I build helpful things. Schedule your no-perform zone. Pick 3 inputs. Rotate a novice/mentor context. And tell 1 friend your applause lag plan. If a group bristles, that's data. Status is a tool. When it becomes a leash, drop it. Trigger 4, meaning, the story that justifies anything. Humans will endure almost anything if it feels purposeful. That's beautiful and dangerous. Manipulators know that if they can supply a grand mission with cosmic stakes, they can convert your pain into fuel and your conscience into a script. The thing most people miss is that meaning doesn't just explain the world. It organizes obedience. Once the story says your struggle redeems the future, almost any cost starts to look virtuous. What does meaning-based manipulation look like? Cosmic stakes. The fate of the planet depends on us. Chosen trauma. Only we understand the suffering that makes us destined to heal it. Enemy archetypes. There's a corrupt force trying to stop us. A salvation timeline. Sacrifice now, paradise soon. Jonestown framed dissenters as traitors to a utopian project. Modern purity spirals do this with moral panics that demand total alignment. You'll also hear sacred language, purity, destiny, awakening, betrayal, heresy. Sacred words move you out of everyday trade-offs into sacred logic. where disagreement becomes sin and questioning becomes profane. Now here's where most people mess up, confusing intensity with truth. A story that makes you cry can still be wrong. A mission that electrifies you can still be misaligned. Intensity is a highlighter, not a validator. It shows you where you care. It doesn't guarantee the story is accurate. If you remember nothing else in this section, remember this. Strong emotion is data about values, not proof of facts. Let's make it practical with 3 diagnostics. First, mission creep. Write the first ask that got you in, maybe journal daily, or attend weekly. Now list the asks over time. Do they escalate from self-betterment to self-erasure? Journal daily becomes confess your secrets publicly. Attend weekly becomes make us your family. Donate once becomes sign over your assets. If asks grow in cost and shrink in reversibility, you're not in growth, you're in capture. Second, enemy fixation. Healthy missions define problems precisely and invite collaboration. Unhealthy missions define enemies broadly and demand purity. Where fighting misinformation can be healthy. Everyone who disagrees is evil is a purity spiral. Jim Jones' rhetoric turned critics into existential foes, which later justified coercion as protection. When enemies become essential to the story, the mission needs conflict to survive. That's when harm gets rationalized as defense. Third, sacred fog. Translate the glowing words into plain language. If alignment means obey, say obey. If energy leak means criticism, say criticism. If purity means no dissent, say no dissent. In people's temple meetings, loyalty often meant silence. In some wellness spaces, low vibration means don't question. Does the idea still hold when stripped of glow? Plain words pop the trance. Here's a quick win, the alternative plotline exercise. Take one charged event, missed deadline, external criticism of your leader, and write 3 framings. 1. The sacred framing the group pushes. 2. A mundane framing with no heroes or villains. 3. A growth framing that includes your agency. For example, we were attacked by haters versus we shipped before testing versus we can slow down and fix our process. You'll feel your breathing change when the monopoly of meaning breaks. Your immunity tool is plural meaning. Hold multiple sources of purpose at once. Craft, relationships, service, curiosity, health. If your only purpose comes from one mission, any threat to it becomes existential. If meaning is plural, you can adjust one domain without collapse. Practically, set a meaning portfolio. 5 buckets: create, connect, contribute, learn, restore. And list one activity in each you'll do this month. Paint something small, have coffee with an old friend, help a neighbor, study a topic you shelved, nap without guilt. Purpose scales down just fine. Before we continue, you need the identity minus check. A mission says, you are the kind of person who. Test it by removing the mission. Do your core values still stand? Honest, keeps promises, helps where possible. If your values vanish without the mission replaced yourself. It didn't express it. Rewrite your 2-line portable identity, capacities and values only. Then place the mission under it, not over it. Common mistakes to avoid. Don't adopt cynicism as armor. Meaning is good. The goal isn't to feel less, it's to choose sources that don't demand your soul. Don't outsource your conscience to the cause. If a tactic violates your values in the name of the mission, that's the checkmate move, walk. And don't confuse sacrifice with impact. Hard isn't always helpful. Ask for measurable effects, not just noble suffering. Microdose plural meaning weekly. Do one act of purpose outside the tribe. Help a neighbor, contribute to a local fix. Write something that helps one person, not the algorithm. Local acts restore your agency and shrink the need for cosmic drama to feel useful. A quick microstory. A savior profile leader lived for the mission, cosmic stakes, enemies everywhere, sleep optional. Burnout was framed as proof of devotion. We mapped mission creep. Asks had escalated from weekly strategy calls to cutting off family. We ran alternative plotlines on a public critique. One version said betrayal. Another said valid feedback we ignored. We built a meaning portfolio. 2 months later, the leader still cared but stopped treating the mission as sacred. They slept, restored 2 friendships, and made better strategic calls because panic wasn't steering. Guardrails for meaning. Build reversible commitments. Time-limited roles with exit dates and a retrospective. Translate sacred language into plain words in meetings. If the mission shrinks under plain speech, it was inflated. Require public ethics overrides. Lines you won't cross even for the cause. No dehumanization, no lying, no coercive shame. Share them with your team. When pressure rises, read them aloud. Then run the exit test. Can you pause for 30 days without exile? If not, the cause is wearing cult tactics. Finally, track the bodily tell, mission euphoria. If you feel invincible, slow down. 3 breaths, then ask, what cost am I ignoring? What else could matter? Meaning should enlarge your life, not narrow it to a single corridor. When you keep plural plots alive, no single story can hijack your identity. The playbook: recruit, isolate, load, bind. You've seen the levers: belonging, certainty, status, meaning. Now watch the choreography that turns them into a control system. Recruit, isolate, load, bind. Same pattern whether it's a cult, a culture-drunk startup, or a purity spiral community. Recruit starts with warmth and mirroring. You're flooded with attention, your language gets echoed back, and your pain points are reflected with uncanny accuracy. There's an instant identity offer and a ready-made fix. You're one of us. We get what you've been through. Here's why life felt off, and here's the path. The first asks a featherlight, a free workshop, a social share, a meetup. Commitment and consistency do the rest. Those small public yes set up bigger ones, because acting against your past self feels bad, so you rationalize forward. Isolate comes next, not with locks, but with calendars and curation. Your schedule fills with calls, trainings, optional leadership circles that just happen to overlap your old routines. Information control sneaks in as best resources. Curated chats, recommended lists. Don't feed the trolls, ignore the noise. The group shifts from one input to your primary input to your only trusted input. Us versus them pressure rises. Outsiders won't understand. They're threatened by your growth. Social proof seals it. Look how many people get it. Old ties thin, new ties multiply. Load is the language layer. A specialized lexicon appears. Acronyms, inside jokes, sacred phrases. Thought-terminating clichés pop up. Trust the process. That's your ego, low vibration, culture fit. A central authority drifts to the middle. It can be a person, doctrine, founder myth, or dashboard. The new lexicon rewires interpretation. Questions become resistance. Nuance becomes negativity. Debate becomes disloyalty. With language shaped, reality narrows. Bind is the closure. Public commitments, sunk costs, moral leverage. You're nudged to tell your story, pledge devotion, put money or reputation on the line. Reversible steps quietly turn irreversible. Auto-renew payments, roles that carry obligations, friendships contingent on compliance. If you hesitate, you're reminded of your investment, your impact, your responsibility. Identity fusion makes exit feel like self-erasure. There's a reliable tell, speed asymmetry. Onboarding is fast, exit permissions are slow. You'll hear, jump in, you'll figure it out. But when you try to pause, it becomes, let's process your resistance. Don't throw away your gains. Translation, sprint in, crawl out. Let's make this diagnostic. During recruit, watch for friction versus flattery. Are they mirroring you back to you without challenge? Is there any costless pushback? We might not be for you. Or only finally, someone who understands. Time the first significant ask. If it lands before there's history, note the velocity. Countermove, pause. Say, I like this. I'll revisit in 30 days. Healthy groups accept pace. Manipulators push urgency with scarcity clocks. During isolate, audit your inputs and your calendar. Are parallel sources dwindling? Do events crowd out old friends? Can you bring a skeptical friend and watch them be treated with respect? Countermove, keep 2 unrelated channels alive, people and media, that don't share the group's incentives. If that triggers guilt, that's the point. Freedom feels like guilt when loyalty has been defined as isolation. During load, translate jargon into plain words. If alignment means obey, say obey. If energy leak means criticism, say criticism. Does the claim survive in plain language? If it shrinks, sacred fog was doing the work. Counter-move, maintain a personal glossary and insist on plain language restatements before you agree to anything. Plain speech breaks spells. During bind, run the reversibility check. Can you undo this payment, title, pledge, or confession without social penalties? Can you step back for 30 days without being labeled disloyal or fallen? Counter-move, reversible commitments only, time-boxed roles, monthly reviews with an external friend, and opt-out norms stated early. I take sabbaticals. I keep outside mentors. I use multiple sources. If that sparks pushback, you've surfaced the control point. Don't wait for spectacular harm. The pattern is the proof. Recruit without isolate fizzles. Isolate without load confuses. Load without bind leaks. When all four stack, you're in a high-control design. The most underestimated counter is pace disruption. Delay replies by a day. Decline urgent invites. Keep an off-platform channel with 2 members who'll reality check outside the group context. Predatory systems rely on momentum. Friction restores judgment. If you remember one move from this playbook, flip their rhythm. Slow yes, fast no. You don't need to win arguments with people who profit from your certainty. You need time, parallel inputs, plain words, and commitments you can reverse. 10-minute diagnostic. Are you in a high-control environment? Let's run a fast scan. 5 tests, red/yellow/green. Red means high-control pattern present. Yellow means mixed signals, proceed with caution. Green means healthy so far. Belonging test. Question 1. Can you dissent without threat to connection? Try a small public disagreement. I see this differently because... Watch what happens next. Green. Disagreement is engaged respectfully, and your relationships don't cool. Yellow. People go quiet, you get side-eyed, invite slow. Red. Your guilt labeled negative, or privately warned to align. Follow-up probe. Can you bring a skeptical friend, and are they treated well? If the room turns cold, mark red. Quick counter-move. Announce your participation cadence. 2 nights max, 1 month review. Then observe reactions. Certainty test. Question 2. Are doubts framed as disloyalty or growth? Ask leaders. What would change our mind on this? Green. They name falsifiers, welcome data, and document updates. Yellow. They acknowledge hypotheticals, but pivot to slogans. Red. Questions get pathologized. Ego. Fear. Low vibration. Not a team player. Linguistic tell. Absolutes and secret knowledge promises dominate. Always, never, only we know. Countermove. Publish 1 falsifier for a shared belief and book a date to revisit it. If that triggers shaming, you've surfaced a control point. Status test. Question 3. Does your worth swing with compliance? Track a week of praise and pushback. Green. Feedback is steady, tied to behaviors and private. Yellow. Praise depends on visibility. Feedback sometimes shames in public. Red. Whiplash. Emoji storms for obedience. Ice outs for pushback. Humiliation rituals dressed as growth. Add a volatility check. If one misstep drops you from hero to suspect, that's a casino, not a community. Countermove. Set self-status metrics you control. Sleep, deep work, 1 generous act, and reduce performative outputs for 7 days. See who notices and how. Meaning test. Question 4. Is the mission bigger than your life, always? Ask, what's a line we won't cross, even for the cause? Green. Clear ethics overrides, and reversible commitments exist. Yellow. Values are stated but bend when stakes are high. Red. Sacred language justifies anything. Purity, betrayal, heresy, and personal costs are moralized as proof of devotion. Run the mission creep scan. Did asks escalate from self-betterment to self-erasure? If yes, mark red. Countermove. Translate sacred fog into plain words in a meeting and propose a time-boxed pilot with exit criteria. Structure test. Question 5. Can you leave for 30 days without penalties? State a boundary. I'm taking a month off to reset. Green. They respect it, keep the door open, and no back-channel shaming. Yellow. They process it at length, pushing fear of missing out. Red. Threats to your access, relationships, or reputation. Attempts to isolate you from parallel inputs. Practical tell. Fast onboarding, slow exit permissions. If joining took a day and pausing takes a tribunal, that's red. Countermove. Schedule the pause anyway, keep outside mentors, and maintain an off-platform channel with 2 members for reality checks. Score it now. For each test, mark red/yellow/green. 2 or more reds equals high control environment. 1 red plus 3 yellows equals caution. Patterns are forming. All greens doesn't mean coast. It means keep the habits that made it green. Action within 10 minutes. Set 1 boundary this week. Pick the reddest area and choose a reversible move. Examples: belonging. Skip 1 event without apology and invite an outside friend next time. Certainty. Post your falsifier and a review date. Status. Decline a title while keeping your contribution. Meaning. Replace sacred fog with plain speech and request metrics plus opt-outs. Structure. Book a 2-week pause now, no negotiation. Common pushbacks you'll hear and what they signal. Your overthinking often means don't slow momentum. Real commitment means sacrifice is fine when impact is measured and reversible. It's red when sacrifice outruns evidence. We're a family drifts yellow to red if disagreement triggers exile. Trust the process is useful when paired with metrics and opt-outs. It's red when used to end questions. Final check, parallel inputs. Do you maintain 2 independent sources of belonging, information, and purpose outside this group? If not, you're running a single supplier risk. Start a second stream this week. Small, quiet, real. Slow yes, fast no. Boundaries first, then buy-in. Your future self will thank you. Your mental firewall. Daily, weekly, quarterly. Let's make freedom a habit, not a mood. You don't need a retreat. You need a cadence that keeps your attention free and your identity portable. Daily first. Do a 5-minute ambiguity rep with something ordinary. A headline, a Slack claim, a friend's take. Ask 3 questions. What's the strongest alternative explanation? What evidence would separate them? And what's my confidence as a percentage right now? Speak the number. Tomorrow, update it. Your training updates, not defenses. Add a dejargon moment. When you hear sacred fog, alignment, purity, culture fit, translate it out loud into plain words. Are we saying obey? Are we saying don't criticize? Plain language pops the trounce and makes better decisions faster. Close your day with a roll-off ritual. Say title off, close the laptop, hang the lanyard, or put your phone on airplane mode. That tiny cue tells your nervous system you're not your role after this moment. People underestimate how fast this lowers reactivity. 1 more daily rep, a 2-minute relief check. When something makes your anxiety drop fast, pause and ask, what else could be true? 3 breaths, then move. That breaks the certainty-compulsion loop before it builds. Weekly, run an identity inventory. List the roles you played: manager, parent, teammate, creator. And next to each, write 1 value you kept: honesty, boundaries, kindness, craft. If a role forced you to violate a value, star it. That starred role gets a boundary this week. Do a cross-check on your information diet. Pick 1 topic you care about and consume 2 credible sources that disagree. Steelman the one you oppose. Write a paragraph they'd call fair. If you can't, you're fighting a caricature, not the idea. Set a calendar guardrail. 2 group nights max. 1 identity-free block where you're nobody's anything. Read paper pages. Walk without posting, sketch badly. If you feel the itch to document, stay 10 more minutes. You're rewiring worth from witness to living. Run a micro-exit. Rehearsal. Practice 1 public, graceful no. I'm out this round. I'll reevaluate next month. This normalizes reversibility, so future pauses feel expected, not dramatic. Weekly role rotation helps too. Be a novice once and a mentor once. Learn guitar badly. Help a neighbor learn spreadsheets. That swing stops role fusion before it forms. Monthly, do an exit drill. Pick 1 platform, group, or routine and step away for 7 days. Not a rage quit. A clean pause with a return date. Observe, guilt spikes, FOMO, social pressure. Note who respects the boundary and who pathologizes it. That's your red/yellow/green map. Refresh your opt-out norms. Write and pin them. Slow yes, fast no, timebox titles, outside mentors, 2 inputs per belief, no irreversible steps in the first 30 days. Share with 1 accountability buddy who will ask if you drift. Tune your meaning portfolio. 5 buckets: create, connect, contribute, learn, restore. Schedule 1 small act in each for the next 4 weeks. Paint something tiny, call an old friend, pick up litter on your block, read 1 chapter on a shelved topic, prioritize a real rest. Purpose scales down, let it. Audit status volatility. For 7 days, track if praise or criticism changed your core behavior. If yes, tighten your intrinsic scorecards, sleep, deep work, 1 generous act, and cut a performative output for the week. Quarterly, take a solitude day. No feeds, no group inputs, no obligation tasks. Bring a notebook and ask 4 questions. What beliefs did I update? What roles can sunset? What practices earn their keep? Which needs are monopolized by 1 supplier? Write without performance. Then choose 1 reversible change. Step down from a title, rotate a role, add a parallel input, or retire a ritual that turned into theater. Pair that day with a safety check. Revisit your falsifiers for top beliefs. Do they still make sense? Do you have the data to test them? If not, adjust your inputs until a real test is possible. Odds, not oaths. A few friction fixes. I don't have time. Trade one group night and one doom scroll hour for this cadence. I'll look flaky. Pre-announce your review rhythm. I evaluate commitments monthly. People will be upset. Some will. That tells you who benefited from your lack of boundaries. Watch your body. Chest tight when you say no. Name it. Trained guilt, not danger. Mission euphoria rising? Slow down and ask for costs and alternatives. Craving applause? Do the unspecial act and sit with the itch. It fades. Make it social in smart ways. Share your falsifier and your opt-out norms with a friend as mirror. 10 minutes monthly keeps certainty from going sacred and belonging from going monopolistic. Screenshot your private input scoreboard to that one person, not the feed. Quiet accountability beats public performance. If you remember nothing else, remember this cadence. 5 minutes daily for flexibility, 1 hour weekly to align roles and values, 1 small exit monthly to stay reversible, 1 solitude day quarterly to reset direction. Keep the rhythm, and most manipulations bounce. Modern microcults, where this shows up today. Let's stress test the playbook in places you already live. We're not demonizing entire arenas. We're spotting high control patterns and using your diagnostics plus guardrails to stay free inside them. Work cultures first. Hustle as virtue turns belonging into exhaustion. You'll hear, we're a family, while your worth rides weekly dashboards. Recruit with hero lore and swag. Isolate with after-hours socials and late Slack. Load with insider jargon. Rockstar, 10x, ownership mindset. And bind with public OKRs, culture badges, and optional weekends. Your counter is structural. Announce your participation cadence up front. Message windows, 2 group nights max, monthly review, and translate sacred fog into plain language. Ask, are we saying work unpaid hours? If yes, propose a time-boxed pilot with clear metrics and an opt-out. Healthy teams adapt, culty ones shame. Online communities. Algorithms reward certainty and status volatility. Purity tests, pylons, and read the pinned, used as a cudgel. Mods become mini-gurus. Belonging depends on your takes. Recruit with memes and shared enemies. Isolate by making the feed your main input. Load with shibboleths and thought terminators. Cope, NPC, touch grass, and bind with karma, badges, and parasocial ties. Run the belonging and certainty tests. Post a respectful minority view and watch responses. Add 2 credible countersources on one topic. Set a no-perform zone. Consume without posting for 7 days. If your self-worth loosens when the scoreboard goes dark, keep that habit. If pausing triggers social penalties, you've found the leash. Parallel inputs now. Wellness and spiritual spaces. Great practices live here, and some high-control designs. Red flags, secret methods behind paywalls, energy language to shut down questions, chosen elites with special gifts, retreats that pack your day from dawn to midnight. Recruit with ecstatic testimonials and love bomb circles. Isolate with toxicity, labels on outsiders. Load with sacred jargon and guru centrality. Bind with vows, confessions, and auto-renew memberships. Counter with reversibility and plain words. Timebox commitments. Ask for published ethics and refund policies. Request falsifiers. What evidence would change the leader's view? If none, treat it as identity enforcement, not knowledge. Bring a skeptical friend to an intro. Watch how they're treated. Political tribes. Totalizing narratives, enemy fixation, and moral panic are features, not bugs. Recruit with identity affirmation. Isolate with mainstream media lies, or everyone else is dangerous. Load with slogans. Bind with public pledges and callouts. Your antidotes are probability talk and plural meaning. Phrase positions as odds and publish a falsifier. If X happens by this date, I update. Keep 2 independent sources across the aisle for 1 topic monthly. Do 1 local, concrete act. Fix a small problem for real people. That swaps performance for impact and weakens purity spirals. Dating funnels and coaching ecosystems. Love bombing, status badges, exile threats. In dating, instant soulmate talk, trauma confessions on week 2, then control. In coaching, high-ticket masterminds with proprietary frameworks, testimonials as social proof. And if you're resisting, it's your scarcity mindset as a thought terminator. Recruit with aspirational identity. Isolate with curated rooms and no negativity clauses. Load with jargon. Bind with multi-$1,000 packages. Your move is slow the bind and the exit test. No major financial commitments for 30 days. Ask for a trial, a refund policy, and plain deliverables. Invite a trusted outsider to the sales call. If their presence chills the room, mark red. Startups and creator collectives blend many levers. Perks look generous but can quietly isolate. Campus vibes plus endless availability. Build in public, confuse role to self. Leaderboards gamify status and keep you captured. Use identity inventory weekly, unspecial acts, and role rotation. Be a novice somewhere offline. Be a mentor somewhere with no metrics. Keep outside mentors who don't share equity or audience with you. Private group chats. Encrypted tribes of the real ones can be gold, or can go closed loop fast. Signs of drift. Loyalty over truth, moralized leaks, mini-gurus. Run a monthly exit drill. Leave for 7 days and note reactions. Respect equals green. Surveillance equals red. Maintain an off-platform connection with 2 members for reality checks. Education and fandoms deserve a mention. Courses with only insiders know framing. Fandoms where criticism equals betrayal. Conventions that soak time and money under sacred fog. Same counters. Pace, plain language, reversibility, ethics overrides, and parallel inputs. You can love a thing without letting it own your calendar, wallet, or conscience. Make this practical. Pick one arena you're in right now. Work, online, wellness, politics. Dating/coaching, startups/creator, private chats, fandoms. Run the 5 tests. Dissent without exile, doubts as growth, worth not tied to obedience, mission with ethics overrides, exit without penalties. Mark red/yellow/green. Then set one reversible boundary this week. Message windows, time-boxed commitment, public falsifier with a review date, spending pause, or a no-perform block. Announce your review cadence so updates are expected, not dramatic. If pushback spikes, you just mapped the control point. Keep the boundary anyway. You're not rejecting connection. You're choosing freedom inside it. Case studies. 3 profiles, 1 playbook. Different lives, same levers. Watch the choreography, recruit, isolate, load, bind, play out across 3 people. Your job is to spot the first doubt, the first punishment, and the first silence. Those are the turnarounds. The seeker moves to a new city, feels unmoored, and stumbles into a growth circle. Recruit is textbook. Names remembered on night 1, instant, you're one of us, and mirroring her language about finding alignment. The first ask is light, weekly meetups, and a gratitude share. Isolate follows through a friendly calendar flood. Optional circles that overlap her old hobbies, DMs that nudge her to prioritize the work, and a curated resources list that quietly replaces her feeds. Load arrives as lexicon, ego stories, high vibe, trust the process, and a neat Q&A script where dissent equals resistance. Bind comes via public testimony and a small monthly auto-renew that unlocks an inner cohort. Her first doubt appears when a technique contradicts her body. She asks, "What would change our mind on this?" The room goes quiet. That's signal 1. Her first punishment is subtle. Invites slow, a mentor says her energy's off. Signal 2. First silence lands a week later. No reactions on her post after months of emoji storms. She deploys 2 counters, parallel community and probability talk. She joins a ceramics class where nobody cares about vibration, keeps 1 friend outside the circle, and reframes her belief as odds. I'm 60% on this helping right now. With Slack restored, she runs the exit test, skips 2 meetings, brings a skeptical friend. Hospitality evaporates. She walks while ties are still light because she slowed the bind early. The striver is ambitious and joins a startup that sells ownership mindset. Recruit dazzles, founder law, swag, heroic mission slides. Isolate hides in perks. Free dinners, late Slack as virtue, weekend voluntary hackathons. Load is KPI liturgy, 10x, rockstars, culture fit, and dashboards that moralize performance. Bind hooks through titles and visibility. Culture champion badge, private channels, public OKRs that reset weekly. He mistakes conditional approval for safety. The first doubt is practical, challenging a deadline that risks burnout. The first punishment hits instantly. His leadership potential score drops and his updates get ghosted. The first silence is the vanishing emoji storm. He almost compensates with more nights online. We interrupt with role detox and intrinsic metrics. 90 minutes of deep work, 1 generous act with 0 points, 8 hours of sleep. He sets a no-perform zone after 7 p.m. and rotates contexts. Mentoring a teen on Saturdays, learning piano badly on Sundays. Anxiety falls as applause lag stretches. With a steadier baseline, he tries a public boundary during a radical candor spectacle. Let's make feedback private, specific, and actionable. The ritual fizzles. He steps down from culture champion, keeps the job, and his influence increases because people now trust he won't trade honesty for claps. The savior craves significance and finds a cause with cosmic stakes. Recruit frames destiny. You were born for this, and mirrors her past hurts as proof of calling. Isolate paints outsiders as asleep or dangerous. Family becomes misaligned. Load sanctifies everything. Purity, betrayal, heresy, and names an enemy that explains all setbacks. Bind escalates from canvassing to vows, public confessions, and time demands that swallow life. Her first doubt shows when a tactic crosses her ethics. She asks for an override list, crickets. The first punishment is a label, soft. The first silence is ghosting by people she recruited. She copes by doubling down, translating harm as sacrifice. We pull the brakes with plural meaning and plain language. She builds a meaning portfolio, create, connect, contribute, learn, restore, and schedules one small act in each outside the tribe. In meetings, she swaps sacred fog for clear speech. Are we saying lie to win? That sentence punctures trance. She timeboxes roles with exit dates, writes 3 lines she won't cross, no dehumanization, no lying, no coercive shame, and shares them. When pressure surges, she reads them aloud. The mission shrinks under plain words. She steps back without collapsing because purpose is now plural. A tiny 4th profile shows the same pattern in miniature. The moderator. He loves the mix of power and camaraderie in an online forum. Recruit gives badges and access. Isolate makes the feed his main input. Load supplies shibboleths and thought-terminating replies. Bind fuses identity to mod status. His first doubt, are we banning too fast? Earns a private demotion. Then comes a cold DM chain. He runs an exit drill for 7 days, keeps 2 off-platform friendships, returns with a public policy. Reversible bans, clear appeals, monthly audits. The community gets healthier. He stays human. What ties all 4? The sequence. Love, then rules, then roles, then worldview. And the inflection points you can act on. First doubt, first punishment, first silence. Catch those and run your counters. Parallel community beats isolation. Probability talk beats dogma. Role detox beats status capture. Plural meaning beats totalizing missions. You don't need drama. You need reversible moves while the costs are still small. Recovery after exit. Rebuilding identity without a cage. Exiting is the first courageous step. Decompression is the second. Your nervous system's been riding alarms and applause, so give it 2 quiet weeks of basics. Sleep, real meals, daylight, gentle movement. Keep inputs soft, books over feeds, nature sounds over hot takes. If you feel flat or oddly blank, that's chemistry normalizing. Don't fill the space with a new doctrine. Let baseline return before you add challenge. Grief will visit. You're not only losing people, you're mourning an imagined future and a version of you that tried hard. Name the losses, routines, inside jokes, a sense of certainty, access. Mark it with a simple ritual. Write a letter to the hoped for future. Thank it for structure and lessons. And put it away or burn it safely. Rituals help the body accept what the mind already decided. Next, rebuild information hygiene. Closed loops trained you to distrust outside sources, so widen carefully. Use a 3-source rule on one important topic. 1 source you use to trust, 1 mainstream, 1 critical but credible. Translate loaded language back to plain speech as you read. If your mind reaches for betrayal, try disagreement. If it reaches for purity, try quality. Plain words restore grip. Trust rehab is about consent and pacing. Start with low stakes, high consent connections. Say, I'm relearning boundaries. I might need to pause. Watch responses. Curiosity is green, coldness is yellow, control is red. Practice the tiny exit test in new spaces. Offer 1 respectful dissent and track whether you're still welcome without heat. Keep interactions finite, coffee, not a retreat. Leave before you're tired to end with a good felt sense. Cognitive cleanup means retiring spells. Make a 2-column glossary of the group's jargon and the plain equivalent. Alignment agreement, low vibration, I feel off, ego preference or fear. Then audit your internal Q&A scripts. Replace thought-terminating clichés with updatability. If I disagree, I'll ask for evidence, try a small test, and revisit. You're swapping sacred for falsifiable. Identity reconstruction works best when it's portable. Draft a two-line identity built on capacities and values, not titles. I learn fast. I keep promises. I build helpful things. Put it where you'll see it. Lock screen, journal, bathroom mirror. Titles can be stripped, capacities travel. Add one weekly roll-off ritual. Close the laptop, say title off, and step into ordinary life for the evening. Meaning needs a gentle re-entry. Resist the vacuum's call to a new grand mission. Use a small, plural portfolio. Create, connect, contribute, learn, restore. Place one tiny act in each for the next 4 weeks. Draw for 10 minutes, call a friend, pick up litter on your block, read a chapter on a shelved topic, take an unapologetic nap. Purpose scales down. Small wins rebuild agency without performance theatre. Status detox is simple, not easy. Set a weekly no-perform zone. 90 minutes of doing for its own sake. Cook badly, tend a plant, play with a kid, walk without documenting. If you feel the urge to post, stay 10 more minutes. Pair it with intrinsic scorecards, sleep, deep work, one generous act that earns 0 points. Share the checklist with one person, not the internet. Quiet accountability beats public performativity. Boundaries prevent relapse. Adopt slow yes, fast no as default. Timebox new commitments for 30 days with opt-out reminders. Keep 2 independent suppliers for belonging, certainty, status, and meaning so no single stream can corner you. Rehearse graceful declines out loud. Not now. I'm trying a slower cadence. I'll revisit next month. Familiar words calm the body when you use them under pressure. Expect aftershocks. There may be love bombs to lure you back or smears to punish you for leaving. Pre-write 2 responses. Private. Appreciate the concern. I'm taking space. I'll reach out if that changes. Public. I'm stepping back to focus on health and family. Wishing folks well. Don't litigate history in public threads that reward drama. Your energy belongs to your present. Measure recovery by flexibility, not purity. Green lights are simple. Sleeping better, holding doubt without spiraling, disagreeing without rehearsing punishment, feeling okay being ordinary. If panic spikes, shrink the moves. If euphoria returns, slow down and ask for costs and alternatives. And if loneliness flares, add parallel communities before you add intensity. You're not trying to be uninfluenceable. You're making your influences visible and reversible. The one-page immunization plan. Let's compress everything into a single page you can actually use for 30 days. 5 moves, written once, practiced weekly, reviewed with a friend. Step 1. Name your top trigger. Be honest. Which hack grabs you fastest? Belonging, certainty, status, or meaning? Quick self-scan. When you're lonely, do you join too fast? When confused, do you grab binaries? When praised, do you overextend? When inspired, do you excuse bad tactics? Circle 1. That's where you'll anchor your guardrails. Step 2. Set 1 guardrail per trigger. Belonging gets a belonging audit. Pace, permeability, reciprocity. Ask, how fast is intimacy ramping? Can I bring dissenting friends? And do they respect no? Certainty gets a maybe map. Phrase 1 belief as odds and write 1 falsifier you'll actually honor. Status gets intrinsic metrics. 3 inputs you control. Deep work, generous act with 0 points, real sleep. Meaning gets a portfolio. 5 small actions across create, connect, contribute, learn, restore this month so no single story owns you. Step 3. Pick a cadence you'll keep. Daily. 5-minute ambiguity rep, and 1 de-jargon translation out loud. Weekly. Identity inventory, 2 cross-check sources on 1 topic, a micro-exit rehearsal. Monthly. A 7-day exit drill from 1 platform or group with a return date, and notes on who respects boundaries. Quarterly. A solitude day to reset beliefs, roles, practices, and suppliers. Put dates on a calendar now. Rhythm beats willpower. Step 4. Choose 2 arenas to apply today. Work, online communities, wellness/spiritual spaces, politics, dating/coaching, startups/creators, private chats, fandoms. Run the 5 tests. Dissent without exile, doubts as growth, worth not tied to obedience, mission with ethics overrides, exit without penalties. Mark red/yellow/green. Set 1 reversible boundary per arena this week. Message windows, time-boxed commitment, public falsifier with review date, spending pause, or a no-perform block. Announce your review cadence so updates are expected, not dramatic. Step 5. Add one accountability human. Share your one-page plan and book a 10-minute check-in in 30 days. Ask them to mirror drift. If your certainty hardens, they ping your falsifier. If status jitters spike, they nudge your inputs. If belonging narrows, they prompt a parallel community. If meaning totalizes, they remind you to rebalance the portfolio. Write it like this: my top trigger, ________ guardrails. Belonging audit cue I'll use, ________ maybe map belief plus falsifier. ________ intrinsic metrics. 3 _______ meaning portfolio. 5 small acts ______ cadence. Daily ambiguity rep at ______ weekly inventory on ______ monthly exit drill starts ______ quarterly solitude on ______ arenas plus 1 boundary each. ________ accountability buddy plus date. _______ execution tips that keep this honest. Measure pace. Healthy spaces welcome delays. Control systems push urgency. Use plain words before you agree to anything. Guard reversibility. If saying no costs connection, you've found the leash. Track your body. Relief spikes and mission euphoria mean pause and ask, what cost am I ignoring? What else could be true? Keep 2 independent suppliers for belonging, information, and purpose. 1 supplier risk is how control scales. Run it for 30 days. You're not trying to be uninfluenceable. You're making influence visible, testable, and reversible. Here's the point. Protect belonging with pace, treat certainty as odds, decouple status from worth, and spread meaning across more than one story. That's daily freedom. Take 10 minutes now. Run the 5 tests in one arena of your life, and set 1 reversible boundary today. Subscribe for more practical psychology. Then watch the next video, where we break down recruit, isolate, load, bind with real examples, so you can spot patterns in 30 seconds and act fast.